Why do root words change spelling with affixes? Imagine building a new word like a puzzle. Sometimes, the pieces need to change shape a little to fit perfectly. That's what happens when we add affixes to root words. A root word is the core part of a word that holds its main meaning. For example, the word act is a root word. When we add parts called affixes, like prefixes or suffixes, the root can change its spelling. Affixes are bits of letters added at the start or end of a root word to change its meaning or how it functions. For example, adding "un" to happy makes "unhappy." Spelling changes happen for a few simple reasons. First, to keep the original sound of the word clear. If a suffix starts with a vowel like ing or ed, sometimes the last consonant of the root gets doubled. For example, run becomes running with a double N, so the vowel sound stays short. Without doubling, it might sound different. Second, if the root word ends with a silent E, that E is often dropped before adding a suffix that begins with a vowel. For example, make becomes making because the E is removed to make pronunciation easier. But if the suffix starts with a consonant, the E usually stays, like in make plus full, which becomes makeful. Third, spelling changes help avoid confusing letter combinations or tricky pronunciations. For example, panic plus ike becomes panicky with a K added to keep the hard K sound before the Y. The influence of where the root word originally comes from also plays a part. Many roots come from Latin or Greek, which have different spelling and pronunciation rules. When these roots are combined with English suffixes or prefixes, sometimes their spelling changes to match English sounds better. For example, the Latin root aqua, meaning water, appears in aquarium. When combined with suffixes, the spelling adapts to fit English pronunciation. Let's look at some examples. Happy becomes happily by adding ly, changing its role from an adjective to an adverb. Run changes to running by doubling the N to keep the short vowel sound. Make becomes making by dropping the silent E before adding ing. Knowing why these spelling changes happen helps us understand how words grow and change. It makes spelling easier and helps us figure out unfamiliar words by breaking them into parts. When we see a root word with an affix, we can often predict how the spelling might change and why. It's like learning the rules of a game so we can play it better.